what I do see of Juan Ayuso is that he always has the mind of a leader. It's about him. I rarely hear him talk about teammates or about the team. It's always about what he did, or what he didn't do, and if he felt great or if he didn't feel great. Still, I don't see him change teams.
Everybody, welcome back to the Move Plus. I'm Spencer Martin. I'm here with Johan Bruyneel. We are breaking down stage 6 of the Vuelta a España, won by Jay Vine from the breakaway, with most of the GC contenders coming in, led by João Almeida with Jonas Vingegaard behind. The big story of the pretty formulaic, old school mountain stage, I would say, Johan. Breakaway gets away early. The Visma shows, as soon as they turn the TV images on, I know we were wrong, because Visma shows no interest in pulling this thing back. The break's at like 4 minutes with 80K to go. They just keep pulling out time. Visma's not committed. They get into the final 2 climbs. Jay Vine, I heard someone in the breakaway say, they're like, yeah, it was obvious Jay Vine was going to win this stage from like 10 minutes into the breakaway. Like, he was just so much stronger. And he just pretty impressively, formulaically just drops everybody, rides away in classic Jay Vine style. Behind, Little Trek takes up the pace when they get to the final climb. It's like a sprint lead out almost into these final 2 climbs. Little Trek takes it up. They're not pacing too hard, but Juan Ayuso gets dropped. Kind of an odd sight, like not suffering, but not staying with the group. Up front, Julia Ciccone attacks. He's followed by Jonas Vingegaard. There is some scrambling behind. João Almeida is in the 3rd group, looks to be out of it, but in true Almeida fashion, just paces himself back up. Then attacks again. Not quite sure I agree with that decision, but it worked out, and he leads the group in 10th place. But Johan, so really the only GC implications were Ben O'Connor loses a little bit of time. Santiago Buitrago loses a little bit of time, couldn't hold pace. And Juan Ayuso loses a lot of time, is out of the GC. Also, Torstein Træen finishes 2nd on Bahrain-Victorious, 54 seconds back, goes into the red jersey. Technically, that's a GC development. Probably not long-term, but what was your takeaway of the day?
Yeah, takeaway of the day, Spencer, as you said, we were wrong. The break made it. It's true. As soon as you see the live images and you see 10 guys and you see the composition of the breakaway, we knew that there was almost everybody of the breakaway stayed away, by the way. So, but at least a few guys would stay away. So yeah, great win by Jay Vine. There was obviously a reason why he lost already so much time in the first few stages. I would say probably on purpose. Because he was 20 minutes down in GC?
He was 20 minutes down. Yeah. Like aggressively far.
Yeah. So that was definitely the plan for him to go in breaks. It worked out well. I mean, the Vuelta is his race, man. I mean, this is where he wins stages, and that's his Grand Tour when he wins stages, right?
Yeah.
He won a few already.
3rd career one.
Was that?
It's his 3rd career Vuelta win.
Oh, it's a 3rd one. Okay. Yeah.
I think 2 back-to-back in 2022. If I'm remembering that right.
Yeah.
No, they were 2 and 3 stages in 2022.
Yeah. And then he crashed out afterwards.
Yes.
But then, I mean, with the GC guys, Spencer, Visma, in my opinion, looked really strong, the strongest team by far. They had Jonas and they had Sepp Kuss, they had Matteo Jorgensen, Ben Tullet was still there for a very long time. So that was definitely something. And then Jonas looked, I would say, amazing. Never under pressure. Looked comfortable. I just have one question. Did he really try hard, or was he really being conservative, knowing that the Vuelta is very long? Obviously, they knew the last climb. I think I read a stat somewhere, Spencer, that of this Vuelta peloton, 25% of the peloton actually lives in Andorra. 1/4 of the peloton.
Wow. And that's just in this race.
Yeah. So they know this climb. I would say for the moment, we don't know much more. We know that Juan Ayuso won't win the Vuelta. He already hinted at the start or before the start that he needed to wait and see. He didn't have any real reference points. He knew he didn't prepare for this Grand Tour like he had prepared for other Grand Tours. He decided late at the request of his team. And today was clear that he doesn't have the form to be in the front of the Vuelta. The question is now, what's going to happen? Is he going to go for stage wins? Is he going to put himself at the service of the team? That would be great to see that of Juan Ayuso. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. And then, of course, Torstein Træen taking the lead, great reward for him. I mean, we've read, I think last year I heard for the first time when he won a stage in the Tour of Switzerland that he's actually a recovering testicular cancer patient. And so, to see him now in the lead of a Grand Tour is just amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. And he won. He was like a young star on Uno X, went away for a little while, I guess, because he was recovering from cancer. And he wins a stage that I think the Queen stage, the Tour of Switzerland last year, kind of quietly racking up these results. And then today, actually, Johan probably attacked too early because it was a weird stage where Bruno Emeril and Torstein Træen were just going for the lead. Like they probably were not really going for the stage. Johan attacks him anyway, rides away. But it's like you probably could have stayed with him and they would have pulled almost all the way up that final climb, and then you could have dropped him later. But Johan probably doesn't need any notes on how to win Vuelta stages. The only thing about Ayuso I found kind of strange, Johan, is so you said I wasn't really prepared, but he leaves the Giro. What was the other option for the end of the year? Like, was he just not going to do another Grand Tour? And
I think I remember when he abandoned the Giro. Let's not forget he was the co-leader of UAE in the Giro. He crashed on the gravel stage, damaged his knee pretty badly. Could hang in there for a while, and then finally he got dropped. And then after that, he got stung by a bee, I seem to remember, and then he abandoned. Right?
Yeah.
So things didn't go his way because of certain circumstances. I do remember UAE saying that he was not going to do another Grand Tour, that's their policy, to not have these young riders do 2 Grand Tours. So I don't know. And I think actually that's the truth, because I did find out that the team that was preparing for the Vuelta, plus the young riders who were preparing for the Tour de l'Avenir, which is going on right now, they were all on a training camp in Andorra on the top. I think it's Puerto de Valira. It's like 2,300, 2,400 meters altitude. They were there, and there was one rider who was not there, was Juan Ayuso. He was training at home on the Costa Blanca. So he hasn't joined the training camp of the team. So I think it was kind of a wait and see how I feel. He was not part of the plan, and so it was a late decision. He did say at the beginning of the Vuelta, okay, I don't know how I am. But then yesterday, after the team time trial, he looked pretty upbeat yesterday. I mean, I think in the team time trial, he felt great. He was probably the strongest guy of the team in the final. And so, I think it's really true that he didn't know what to expect. Hasn't done any, of course he's done training in the mountains, but not proper altitude training as everybody does right now. So, and then after the stage, he said, you guys have been talking it up, but I've said from the beginning that I didn't know how I was. And he found out today that he's not in the shape that he has to be a contender.
Yeah, he's I think Remco Evenepoel is like this, and I don't fully understand why, but he's a rider where time trialing comes before his climbing fitness. Like, remember Tour of Romandy 2023, wins the TT, he's first overall GC. They go to Tyen 2000 the next day, and he's like off the back, and you'd think like, well, how could you be that good in the TT and not in climbing? But it feels like for him and Remco, like they have to be a top fitness to be climbing with the best. And like someone like Pogacar had a really off summer, there's no way he still shows up to this Vuelta and he's climbing with the best, like just feels like for some riders climbing comes easier and for some time trialing comes easier, even if they're roughly the same size.
Yeah, that's possible.
And what's his future here? I kind of worry about him at UAE because so going forward, it seems like Del Toro is going to need to lead at least one Grand Tour a year. Pogacar is going to lead at least one Grand Tour a year. And Joan Almeida is probably going to lead one Grand Tour a year. So where does that leave Juan Ayuso at UAE?
I think it leaves him at UAE. There's a lot of speculation, especially in Spain. And now I've seen on social media some really, high speculation because I don't know. Apparently, Ayuso has changed his profile picture on his social media. He was in UAE kit and now he's in the Spanish selection kit. That's his profile picture. So certain people take away that, now he wants to leave UAE and there's rumors that, Movistar would be interested. I've seen rumors that Little Trek would want to make a bid for him. I think he's going to stay at UAE.
And he's going to be like a domestique there?
Well, no, he's not. I mean, there's a lot of races. There's a lot of races. I think right now Juan Ayuso should focus on 1 week tours, which he's great at. I think that right now that needs to be his focus, and then he can be co-leader at one. He should not be at this moment the leader of UAE in any of the Grand Tours. I think that's just I do acknowledge that. As a 19-year-old, he came into the Vuelta and finished third. But that was like, okay, what's happening here? It has not been confirmed since. And he has shown that he has amazing qualities in 1 week stage races, Tour of Switzerland, Tour of Romandy, Tirreno, Basque Country. I think that should be his focus. And it's a great team to be on, UAE, to be going for those races.
Yeah. Do you think a guy like that gets third in a Grand Tour as a teenager is ever going to be able to say, like, I'm focusing on 1 week races? Or
he can do it. I mean, no, I'm just saying what I think he should do. I'm not saying saying that that's probably in his mind, and even before he turned pro, Juan Ayuso has the mind of a champion, of a winner. You can actually also see it in his interviews. Even today, for example, I was surprised to see that after the finish, of course, the Spanish press gets on him, and he's there calm. He puts his jacket on, and he says, "Yeah, I told you guys that I didn't know if I was ready or not." But then they were asking, "Well, it's a great day for the team," and he says, "Oh, well, I don't know what happened. Who won?"
Yeah,
so it's clear that this guy, once he's out, he for sure he took his earpiece out, and didn't really care what was going on. Before he got dropped, he knew that there was 10 riders away, and that Jay Vine was in there, and that Jay Vine was a serious candidate to win the stage. So I would think any rider on a team would be, even if you're dropped, you would be interested. To know, okay, let me at least, this is over for me, the GC, but let me at least be up to date of what's happening, and so let's see if my teammate wins. The guy just was not interested.
Yeah.
So, that's just me thinking. You could also think, in his favor, I would say maybe, you're disappointed, you're dropped, you just want to make it to the top, and you don't want to hear, car number 2 yelling all the time, because car number 2 is behind, and if it's in mountain stages, the distance is not that far, so you can hear, right? If it's 8 minutes, 10 minutes, in a short line, the distance is not that big. So maybe he just didn't want to hear all the noise. That's also possible. But yeah, what I do see of Juan Ayuso is that he always has the mind of a leader. It's about him. I rarely hear him talk about teammates or about the team. It's always about what he did, or what he didn't do, and if he felt great or if he didn't feel great. Still, I don't see him change teams. I think that first of all, UAE wouldn't let him go, and secondly, I mean, apparently there's a huge buyout clause in the contracts of all these big talents. Ridiculous money. Now, I think if you look at it legally in Europe, I would have my doubts if those clauses are actually legal, if you would test it in a court of law. But then, we can also ask ourselves the questions right now about Juan Ayuso. He is this super talent. He came to the forefront when as a 19-year-old, was, spectacular. He's won a few really nice races, but he abandoned the Tour last year. He abandoned the Giro this year. And now in the Tour of Spain, he's definitely not going to be on the podium. So I would say his popularity, his trendiness is getting lower. The momentum right now is not on his side.
Well, he's a fourth-year professional.
Yeah. And
like,
so
that's
I can only see one team. I can only see one team really going after him, and that's Movistar. They need him. They need a Spanish star. The other teams, not so sure. I'm not so sure.
So there's a guy on his team who's probably the best of all time. What do you think that guy would ask when he crossed the line? I think he would ask, "How did Jay do?" Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. That's concerning to me.
Yeah, no. Listen, the interviews are not great. They're not great for him and his popularity. But I actually don't think. I think he doesn't care. Definitely doesn't realize. He's just focused on himself and his career.
Yeah. Do you think he'll finish this race?
I think he has a great opportunity now well, first of all, what I know for sure is his first thought will be, okay, GC is gone. What can I now do to win a stage? That's his first goal in his mind. The team will probably ask something different from him. The team will probably ask, okay, hey, now you're, a domestique, you're great in the mountains, so we need you, right? He has the opportunity now to show that he can be a great teammate because he's not sick, as far as I know. He's not injured. And he showed great form yesterday in the team time trial. So, an Ayuso who's at 80% can still be very valuable for UAE.
Yes, I do think it's very important. I'd be very excited to see him working for the team. Mm-hmm. I'm not convinced it's going to happen. Do you know how long it's been since he's finished a Grand Tour?
Since his second year pro. He finished fourth, I think.
2 years.
Yeah.
Fourth at the Vuelta, yeah. So he hasn't finished a Grand Tour since 2023. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, he cannot drop out of this thing. Because you can't have, as a rider at that level, you cannot have years between Grand Tour finishes.
He doesn't care.
He might not care, but at some point, is UAE he's not going to work for people. He's not going to contest the win. I mean, they love him there, so I guess they don't care, but he's making a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But I guess I have a question on the stage win. So he gets dropped from a group that's tapping out of pace. Mm-hmm. So can he win a stage, or was he sitting? Like, what happened there? Did he sit up because he's like, "Ooh, I don't feel great"?
Well, he didn't look great. He didn't look comfortable. He looked off. Still, he's a highly talented rider. Yes, he can win a stage. I would say yes.
So
from a breakaway.
Yeah. I don't know if he can beat Jay Vine is the problem. His own teammate in the break. That guy's flying.
Yeah, riding from a breakaway is different. You don't have the all of a sudden increase of pace, the lead out of the team, of the leader who then, basically launches their leader. That doesn't happen in breakaways.
We saw Remco do this in 2023 at the Vuelta, right?
Yeah.
He gets dropped and then he's ripping up the breakaways.
Yeah, I would prefer him to see him in a domestique role working for the team. Actually, That would be great for him and for his own development.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I think it's like important. I don't know if he thinks it's important. We'll see, though. That's what's going to be interesting is, you have to learn, you have to like humble oneself in front of the altar of teamwork before you can be a true champion. And we'll see what happens. This takes me to Jay Vine, kind of an interesting case here. Like, this guy is so good in breakaways. Do you think
he was flying today, man?
He is so strong.
Yeah.
And he's really benefited from staying at UAE because he just gets to focus on stage wins.
Yeah.
Do you think if he was on another team, the pressure would be on him to be a leader?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great climber. He's a great climber. He's a good time trialist. They would definitely demand from him to go for GC. And I'm not saying he can't do it, but, Jay Vine seems to be one of those riders who really, blossoms in a different kind of pressure. It's not easy to have the pressure to be the leader of the GC, to be the leader of the team, and having to deliver every time they expect you to deliver. There's not many riders who can do that.
No, you're right. He's a great time trialist, great climber. On a normal team, on Movistar, they'd say, all right, you're the leader. And maybe he would do great. Maybe he would win Grand Tours. I agree with you. I think, though, that this is like the perfect role for him, and he's benefited being on a stacked team where he doesn't get those opportunities. It's super interesting to see.
For sure. No, great win for him. Great win. And then, the Norwegian guy, Torstein Træen, he did a great climb at the end. He took a bit of time back on Jay Vine. It's normal, but he kind of, the peloton with the leaders, they didn't take that much time back,
Well, yeah. So he's 2.5 minutes in front of Vingegaard. I'm a bit of a worrywart, but it's basically all climbs left in this race. Like, are they sure they're going to get this back from him? They must be.
Oh, wow. Spencer, 1,000%, 1,000%, 10,000%.
Actually, I would have. It obviously makes no sense, but I would love for Jay Vine to have Thorsten's lead and then get to see Vingegaard try to take 2.5 minutes on Jay Vine. That'd be kind of fun to watch. But
that would also happen 1,000%, by the way.
Well, I mean, you start to see this is very unscientific, but you would in that case, like with Primoz last year chasing down Ben O'Connor. You just start to see a class difference between like the winners and the rest, even though they're quite talented.
Yeah, for sure.
So Visma has been super aggressive through the first part of the race. I would say overly aggressive to the point of reckless. They get to the first summit finish and they're really conservative. Like, why? What happened there?
I mean, conservative. I mean, I think they just set a pace. They knew perfectly what was going to happen. Everybody could feel that Little Trek was leading it out and that Ciccone would attack. So why would you not take advantage of that? I mean, basically Little Trek was doing the job for Visma. And then, once Ciccone attacked, the groups blew up, and then the strongest guys were there, and Jonas still had 2 riders there. So I think Visma rode perfectly. They didn't have to do anything else.
Well, they do. Yeah. Well, they do have to start taking time on Joan Almeida at a certain point. So,
but they're in front right now.
Well, they're in front, but they're going in. Would you feel comfortable with an 8-second lead on Almeida going into a time trial at the end of the race?
Yeah.
So in theory, they do need to take time.
They do need to take time, but they're gonna. I mean, today was not. It was a hard stage, but there's finish. Mountaintop finishes that are extremely hard. I mean, Angliru.
So is the narrative that Almeida's undercooked dead? Because if that was actually true when they've tried to press their advantage today.
I still think that Almeida will improve. And let's also, today was a great climb for Almeida. It was tempo. It was hard, but not super steep. It was an Almeida climb. But he looked good. I have to say, he looked, I think today was a test for Almeida. He could have been found out if he wasn't really in great shape. But he rode great. I mean, Almeida looks strong today.
Yeah, I am maybe overly sensitive. I just think if you think you have an advantage on someone like Joao Almeida, you have to press it, because if you wait and he gets better, like remember 2020 Tour, it was like same thing. It's like really conservative. Oh, Pogacar's riding off the front. He's getting 40 seconds. That doesn't matter. And then it's like, well, actually, it mattered quite a lot. Maybe we should have pressed it when we had the chance. Also, after the stage, final climb, people are saying, oh, easy climb. 10K long,
not an easy climb.
7%.
Spencer, I told you yesterday and I did some research on this climb, and I remember it myself. It's 32 years ago, but I remember it as if it was. It's not an easy climb, and there was no big differences. But let's ask the riders in the Vuelta if it was an easy climb. You're not going to find many who say, it was easy."
No, like I would invite people to go ride that type of climb after listening to this. I mean, I did that right after the stage. I try to keep the heart rate high, like 160. And you can actually see how
What did you do? What kind of climb did you do?
It was like 8K long at 7% about.
That's pretty hard.
You can start to see how bad decisions get made, and everything looks like it makes sense on camera. And then you're like, I'm hurting quite a bit here. And like, I'm just doing what I can. So we dissect everything that happens. And like, well, these guys are kind of on the limit. We should just say Ciccone looked really good. The attack was interesting. I mean, I guess I like to see it from him. He's being aggressive, right? Yeah. That's what we didn't like at the Tour. That
he looks good. I mean, if you see him climb like today, the attack only Jonas could follow. Then they get caught back, stays in there without any problem, finishes, I think, third of the group. It was Almeida and Jonas, and then Ciccone.
Yes.
So
who look like the three strongest GC riders right now.
Yeah.
And we should say, too, Visma's conservativeness, I was going to defend them for a second. After watching that finish, not clear to me that if they pull that back, they win that stage, because that was a fast finish. Almeida's a fast guy. Ciccone's a fast guy.
Yeah. It's the work that they had to put in is too much compared to the risk. And they're not here to win stages. They're here to win the overall. Of course, if they can win a stage along the way, they will do it. But it was not worth the effort.
Yeah, it's a very good chance you just pull a rival into a stage win at time bonuses, which isn't a good idea. Little track Ciccone. I'm interested to see where that goes. Ciccone has never finished top 10 in a Grand Tour. Today, he looked. If you just watched today, you didn't know anything about the guy, you'd say he's one of the strongest people in the race. He's really good. Before we move on to the preview, one question I have for you. So UAE's up the road with Jay Vine. They have Almeida in the group. Ayuso's dropped. Marc Soler gets kind of dropped. Almeida's by himself chasing Vingegaard and Ciccone. Is that to me? I mean, they win the stage. They're first out of the GC group, so all's fine in the end. It just feels like, well, they're really spread all over the road here. Was a thought I had at the time, and like, is that a consideration when you're thinking about going for stage wins versus keeping people back in the GC group?
No, I think I mean, more or less everybody was on their own except Jonas.
Two teammates right next to him.
Yeah. Ciccone was on his own. Egan Bernal was on his own, I guess.
Well, I guess Ciccone was only on his own because he had his team wind up the pace and then attacked them.
And Jay Hindley was on his own for a while. Then had what's his name? The Italian kid.
Pellizzari
come back. At that point, it's really a fight amongst the favorites. Of course, it would be, but even for example, normally if Ayuso is in great shape, he would have been there also, right? Then the question would have been, if he's needed, will he do the job for Almeida? But a guy like Marc Soler, for example, who was on equal time before the start of, he if he would be there, he would be hanging on for dear life, wouldn't be able to do anything anyway.
Yeah.
So, I didn't really read too much into that, to be honest.
If you were when you were directing Postal or Discovery, did you would you have sent a rider up to get a stage win on a stage like today?
Listen, you can't compare, Spencer. These times, you can't compare these times. We were very famous for not going in breakaways, and the whole team around the leader. That was our formula that worked the best. But that times have changed. You can't compare.
Well, I
don't know if today I would be directing, I would probably try to get stage wins too. Because let's not forget, like now Jay Vine has his stage win. You can ask him anything now in the rest for the rest of this Vuelta.
That's a good point. I mean, if you think about Visma at the Tour, they go for that stage win early. It's ended up being quite important. Mm-hmm. I mean, they get the one at the end, I guess, which is amazing. But it just gives you a little bit of insurance. And you say, then you can ask anything of that person. And Jay Vine will be with Almeida. So, that's why you make
UAE has 2 stage wins now already with the team time trial. So, the atmosphere must be amazing.
Yeah, that is kind of the funny thing about this Vuelta is UAE has won back-to-back stages. One of their leaders is out of the GC, and everyone is thinking that they're the underdogs.
And they're in the king, and they have the king of the mountains.
Yeah, who's with the guy who's won that before at this Vuelta. So
Jay Vine,
kind of interesting. But anything else on the stage before we move on?
No, I think that's about it. I think we covered everything. I mean, as you said, O'Connor dropped a bit. I don't see him really as it's hard to imagine he's going to repeat his performance of last year. And then Buitrago lost a bit, but I think we can't put Buitrago in the same league as, for example, Vingegaard, Almeida, Ciccone, Gal, Bernal, and those.
The interesting thing about that Buitrago is he was the one doing a lot of the chasing of Vingegaard and Ciccone, and then pays for it, which. I guess they still have Tiberi up there. So if you're really focused on the Bahrain-Victorious GC situation, they're in a great spot. They got Træen in the leader's jersey. They got Tiberi not losing time. But let's take a quick break and then predict tomorrow's stage. All right, Johan, stage 7. We leave Andorra. I don't think we've mentioned that yet. We finished in Andorra, your former home. No, we did say that earlier. Now we start in Andorra City. We leave, go further into the Pyrenees. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 categorized climbs, finishes on a first cat, 12K long, 6% average climb. There's bonus seconds on the second, at the top of the second to last climb. I'll list off the favorites and then we will discuss it. Also, we should say it was quite rainy early. It was bad weather and rainy early in the stage today. Mm-hmm. I've not checked the forecast for tomorrow, but this part of the Pyrenees, it can be quite stormy. So I wouldn't be shocked if it's stormy again. But the heavy favorite, Jonas Vingegaard plus 135, Giulio Ciccone plus 1,000, João Almeida plus 1,000, Jay Vine plus 1,400, Egan Bernal plus 2,500, Marc Soler plus 2,500, Chris Harper plus 3,300. It goes on and on and on. We'll call them out when we need to. One quick note, So we didn't think it was going to be breakaway. I wake up this morning and say, ooh, this is going to be breakaway. I bet on Jay Vine live on BetMGM. This is something you can explore. Like if a stage like this, you think, it's too risky. You can always wait and try to bet on it live. And also, if you do want to bet, make sure you go to nxtbets.com/betoutcomes because you'll get the best price and you'll see where you can do it where you live. But Johan, who do you think is going to win the stage? And do you think it's breakaway or peloton?
It's difficult. It's difficult to predict a rider from a breakaway, Spencer. I actually think there is a decent chance for a breakaway, especially because of this climb, Porto Canto. I still remember that climb myself. I didn't like it at all. It's a 25-kilometer climb. 4.5% only average, but it's ideal for big groups to go away. It's going to be mayhem on that climb. It always is. The thing tomorrow is that if Træen wants to keep the leader's jersey, which I think he wants to, then Bahrain cannot let a group go too far away, at least with guys that are still in contention. So I'm just going to play it safe and go for Jonas Vingegaard to win tomorrow. He's the heavy favorite, in my opinion. He is the best rider in this race. He is the best climber in this race. So I'm going to go for him at 125.
All right. We'll see if Visma is the appetite. I'm going to go discount Jonas. I just agree with your premise. I'm going to go someone at a better price. Joao Almeida plus 1,000. It's funny to me that now it's like the market is just like, well, Jonas he's a summit finish monster. This guy out sprints everybody's on summit finishes. That's not really his profile as a rider. Like, he tends to drop people, and that's how he wins. I don't think tomorrow is a drop people climb. I think people are going to have to sprint out of a small group. So I'm going to go with, I think Almeida looks pretty quick to me at the moment.
Yeah. Well, it's a finish on Cerler. It's not a super difficult climb, but there is, I remember, a part of about 2 kilometers with steeper gradients, I would say between 8, 9, 10%. So he could get away there. If he's going to be able to drop Almeida, that's. I mean, I'm talking about Jonas, right? That's a question. My second choice is going to be the same kind of style rider that you just chose, Spencer. Giulio Ciccone plus 1,000. I think he looked great today. He can definitely win in a sprint, and he's not going to be easy to be dropped. So he's my second choice at plus 1,000.
I don't hate that. I like that. I'm going to go, this is very, very unoriginal. I'm going to go Jay Vine, because today,
from the break,
plus 1,400. God, even if Jay Vine's in the GC group, if you look at the profile of his climb, there is a point that it's like 10%, then a descent, then a climb back up to the finish. Like, you could imagine, remember like Timon Arnsman, something like that at the tour, where you have these guys attacking out of the GC group and they're kind of let go. But man, if Vine gets in the breakaway, it is actually hard to see anyone beating him at the moment, because he's just so much better than any of the breakaway riders on these climbs.
Now, today he was outstanding compared to everybody else in that breakaway.
And he's still, the beauty of Vine's strategy, he's 19 minutes back, essentially, which tells you he's probably pre-planned this. And that's why he lost an aggressive amount of time.
Spencer, I think, if he wants personally to make it a serious personal goal to win the KOM, he kind of has to go in the break tomorrow also to score points.
And so I think he's thought about this. It's why he's lost so much time, more than other stage hunters. I'm going to go Vine at plus 1,400.
Okay, good.
All right. Well, we'll see how it is. It's heating up. It's slowly heating up, Johan. It's not so boring or slow boil would be the diplomatic way of saying that, but I'm excited to see how this plays out.
Okay, Spencer. Speak tomorrow.
All right. We'll talk tomorrow. Bye.